Right, in this video, I'm going to show you what I typically do when I'm making a PearDeck for my kindergarten or first grade classes. So I open up a new slide deck, I change the title to whatever grade level it is, and then I usually organize it by writing PearDeck, and then whatever week it is. So week, I'm just going to put 22. So that way I know I can find it also as well. That helps. So on my first slide for my kindergartners, what I always do is I put some picture of my Bitmoji telling them to wait. And I use that as a visual cue for them so that they know that they've made it to the right place. So I might pick this one and drop it in here. And then I would write in the text box, please wait. And they sort of know by now that that's what they're looking for. And I show this to them on the slides in the classroom. And I say, if you see me holding a happy Valentine's Day sign, then you went to the right place and you're where you need to be. So I have everything here ready for them. So that's what I usually do on my first slide. And then what I would do on my next couple of slides is I would make blank slides. That's what I tend to do. And then I would duplicate a couple of them. For my third graders, or my kindergartners, I have them for 45 minutes, but I take them to the restroom first, and we have like a brain break and a warm up and all that stuff. So I only budget about 20 minutes total for this PearDeck. On a good day, it's 20 minutes. So I don't do that many slides. I might actually do 4 to 5 slides of activity, and then I always end with draw whatever you want, because that's their favorite and that's just what they want to do. So what I would do here is you can do this 2 different ways. You can open up PearDeck and then add all the interactive components to it, or you can make your slides and then go back. I tend to make my slides first and then go back and make it interactive. So let's say that my kindergartners need to practice dragging and dropping. So maybe I'm going to come in here and get some images, and they were studying animals. So maybe I will put an image of a shark, and drag this over. And they were doing sharks and tigers. So I will pick then a tiger and drop him in here. And I tend to do, when I do drag and drops, I tend to do 4 groups of 4. So let me put in 2 more here. Let's do an elephant. Drop that in here. And let's do a monkey. And I'm going to do this one. So if I have my idea of what I want them to drag something to, then I have my images. I'm actually going to change this one because I don't like that it's formatted differently. Here, I'm going to choose this one. Much better. Okay, so I have my images here, and I know that I want them to drag the dots of a certain color. So what I do also to remind me, this also helps to remind me when we're actually doing the activity together, is that I type the word of the animal and the color of the dot that I want them to drag. So if I change this to what I want, I would change the color of this shark. I'm going to write elephant because I don't want them in order. So I'm going to write elephant, And then I'm going to change the font to orange, and I'm going to write monkey. And then I'm going to change the font to yellow, and I'm going to write shark. Oh, that needs to be a different yellow. That is very hard to see. Let's grab one of these darker yellows. That's better. And then change the font to green and change that to tiger. So I have my visual cues for them now. So now I could go in here and open up my PearDeck extension. And if you don't have that, you want to add that to your account. And we're going to make the slide interactive. So you notice I didn't do that on the first one because all I want them to do is wait. So for this one, I'm going to choose the option of draggable because I'm going to have them drag the dots. We're practicing dragging and dropping skills. So inside of here, you can change what you want the dot to be. You can drag math symbols. You can drag other things. I tend to keep it with the dot, but I've done other ones. You could do the triangle if you want to. So maybe I'll pick a star so we can talk about some other shapes. So you just press add another, and add another. Okay. And it sort of gives you an idea of what it's going to look like. You can change the size of the item here. So if you want your star to be big, if you've got kids who haven't done it before and you're worried about that, I usually keep it on the smaller side. And then you add what you want. You can also change the color here to whatever color that you want, and you press update slide. And then when your students get to that slide, it's going to tell them to drag the icons. And then I verbally cue them and say, please drag the red star to the elephant. Please drag the orange star to the monkey. So they go through that drag and drop. Let's go through a choice question. I can do that one next. So a choice question, you would have some sort of prompt, either a problem. So they're doing basic addition practice. So I could put here in a much bigger font. I could just write a simple math equation. Maybe I'll just change this to 60. And maybe I'll put 3 plus 4 equals, and I don't want that answer there. So I have 3 plus 4 equals, and I could put something else in the background. I could put a visual. If you know you have students and you need to scaffold this, you could put 3 dots and then 4 dots. So if I put that underneath here, I could go to insert shape, and I could choose a shape to fill in. I could make a circle right here, and I could fill it in if you have a certain color. So maybe I want to do blue. So I could duplicate that, and I could make 3 dots for them as a visual cue. And then I could duplicate that again and bring it over here and maybe change the color for the 4s. So you can really make this whatever your students need. So if I drag those over here, you'll of course have some students that don't need any help, some students that need quite a bit of help. So there's my visual cue. And then I could put a question mark, I could put a blank. I tend to put like a square for them so that they understand that they're trying to solve this equation. I could go in, fill that in with white, and change the thickness of it so it looks more like a problem they might see in their regular classroom. And then I could go in here and make this a multiple choice question. So I could go in and give them some choices. When this pops up, this is what makes this interactive. You could add more choices here. You could delete them. So if you just want them to pick between 2, I tend to keep it as 3. So option A, I'm just going to put 5. Option B, I'm going to put 7. And then for option C, I'm going to put 1. Okay. I could add more. I could take those off. It will show up. I can press update slide. It'll show up on their screen on the right-hand side as choose an option. So they will see this. And then over here, it will say A, B, or C, and they'll have a circle that they need to press. And then you can look at the answer as a large group. So that's the choice and the draggable. The other one that I use with my kindergartners and first graders is drawing. So I can show you something here for drawing. So you could ask them to draw something specific. So I could turn this into a drawing slide by pressing that option. It's going to allow them to choose their drawing tool, their color, the size. And I could put a prompt at the top. I could go and find an image. So let's say I could search for a rainbow coloring page, and I could take an image from a black line drawing of a rainbow coloring page, and I could put that on my slide, and I could ask them to color this. I could also just ask them to draw a rainbow. I could ask them whatever you would like to do. If you've got a theme that you're studying with your class, you can find an image in there, and then they can practice with the colors, and you could have them, can you write the word rainbow? So all of those things could be on there. You can add audio to the slides. I only add audio if I'm doing student directed. I don't do student directed with my kindergartners and first graders. I do that with the older kids when I'm giving them an individual assignment. And adding audio to the slide is very helpful for any non-readers, any ESL, any kids who are just struggling with reading, kids who like to ask lots of questions. You can always prompt them to remember to listen to the audios that you put on the slide. So that is really helpful as well. I only use the website question up here with older students. It's if I want them to go and research something, look at something, check something, and come back and give an answer. You can link them to a website. You could give them with their math questions a number or text. I don't use the text very much with the younger students because they have iPads and it's really not as intuitive for them. They do know how to do it. They like to add their names. They like to add emojis, but I tend to not do that really until the end of the year with some of my first graders. So this would be my prep work for making a typical PearDeck slide. I would end it with draw whatever you want and let the kids draw whatever they wanted. Yeah, so that's how I usually make the PearDeck slide. In my next video, I will show you how I set this up and share it with my students on Clever and get them into the PearDeck in class.